Welcome to Discovering. The National Walleye Tour, or NWT, is a series of fishing tournaments across the Midwest, including Escanaba. We'll take a look at the tournament, but also we'll tag along with Mark Martin to get some insight into the life of a professional fisherman.
Being a professional fisherman, this doesn't happen very much. This, as far as fishing, that's just a little sliver of the whole pie right here, what we're doing right now.
That's all tonight, so kick back, put your feet up. It's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
In the early morning hours of day one, they gathered in the Ludington Park Harbor for the start of the Escanaba leg of the Cabelas National Walleye Tour Tournament.
Forecast has the wind increasing, which is going to make a big difference on how far some of these anglers go.
100 boats, each with a pair of contenders made up of one pro and one co-angler.
Boat 13, good job. Y'all have a good day out there.
They come from Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, Iowa, Illinois, North and South Dakota, Texas, Colorado, and Ontario. They are here to fish for Upper Peninsula walleyes, with hopes of catching enough walleyes to collect a share of the $300,000 that is up for grabs.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this morning, for waking us all up, bringing us out to your great creation.
A prayer, the national anthem,
of the great.
and the tournament begins.
Thank you.
But for the pro fishermen, this is really not the start. This tournament started a week or more earlier with pre-fishing and studying the water, weather, and fish patterns. And even before that, with planning, coordinating schedules, accommodations, and travel.
Good luck out there, man.
I would guess, like many other jobs, the life of a pro fisherman varies greatly from the glamorous version many of us like to imagine.
That's where we are right there. We're hoping it's going to go below, but we're still going to get wet right here. So
To find out, I tagged along with my friend and pro fisherman, Mark Martin, as he pre-fished for the Escanaba tournament.
we're going to go out, we're going to give it our best try, and we're going to, find where the fish are, because come tournament time, we don't get the practice days back, so we got to make the most of it, dodge storms, and sometimes people call us crazy, but we're still professional fishermen. Just a little tackle, we want to make sure we have the right tackle. So, you got to have as much as in a bait shop or tackle shop, and you got to have 2 or 3 of every color, and it's taken a lot of years of accumulation to get this kind of tackle in here. Some of them are antiques by now, doing this 35 years, and some of them were bought before that and at the beginning, but this is just a little random sample here. And of course I'm looking just for a certain one right now. Then you have to have rods and reels and organized to a point, but you know where everything is, where your lures are, where all your fishing line, if you need fishing line, you got all sorts of fishing line there. So you got extra reels right here. You got all sorts of parts that you can that you may need, and you just never know what you're going to need and when you're going to need it, but you better have it when you do need it. This is just one aspect of it right here, and then the boat's the other aspect of getting it so that you're organized and being able to get yourself onto the most active fish, and that's what we're going to try to do here in a few minutes. Well, we're here on Green Bay, headed out this morning. We just looked at the forecast. It didn't look good. It looked like we're going to get wet sometime today. It looked like thunderstorms around the area. But that's, like I said, part of being a professional fisherman. You got to go out in every kind of weather. And, you know, if it does start thundering and lightning, we're going to be back in. But until then, we're going to keep fishing. And I just turned on my Lowrance and looking at my Navionics chip here. Now I'm seeing some cool looking weed beds out here that I want to fish. I was down this area the other day and was trolling out in deeper water over some reefs, and yesterday I encountered some fish over the tops of the weeds, and so I thought, well, the water was nicer and warmer down here, and there's more weed growth than further north. I wanted to come back and put my newfound technique to work over the tops of these weeds. So that's what we're going to start out doing. We may end up, we're using spinners over the tops of the weeds. We may put spinners over the reefs again out here, just see if more fish moved in over where I caught them before. And then we're going to be using cranks. So we're going to be mixing it up today a little bit, trying to find out what's going to take the most fish in the shortest amount of time, and it's going to take the biggest fish in the shortest amount of time. Because if I had to come down to this area right here from where I got to take off, you're talking about 100 and some mile round trip run, and it better be no rougher than it is right now out here. So this may be a spot, if it's calm, it may be a spot that I go to. If it's rough, there's no way I can get here and have enough time unless they're going to be biting faster than I can put rods in the water. So we're going to find out. Boy, it looks like a pretty good one here. He took the board right under the water, didn't he? It's coming up slowly but surely here. Just started on this spot here and fishing over the tops of these weeds, and so I hope it's a nice big walleye. I know there's other fish in here, but definitely going to be a good fish, I can tell that. Oh, I can see what happened right now. Oh yeah, nice walleye. Nice walleye. There we go. Nice walleye. Right there. That's always the reason why you want to, if these boards ever do come off, the nice thing is we're not going to chase the board anymore. They'll slide right down to a number 7 swivel, or they'll slide right to the weight. I mean, it's close enough to make it interesting for me, but I've done this drill once or twice in my life. Yeah, that's a good walleye right there. There's nothing wrong with that. There it is. Good job, Jim. Yeah, you had it. That was 20 feet back. So we were 10 feet down over about 14 feet of water. And you can see the weeds here. We're up on an 8-foot flat right here right now. So we might be picking up some weeds on some of the other stuff, but that's a decent fish right there. I'd like to have this one in the tournament. So we'll get them off here and get back at it. But there's weeds around it. He won't be like this.
Okay. Looks like he's pulling pretty good right there.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah, there he is. Okay, swing your rod right there. He got into them. There. My famous tail hold. There you go. Good job, Jim. Good job. There we go. A little bit smaller than the first one this morning, but it's a walleye. That's the kind that you want right there for the tournament, because you got to have only 2 of them. Can be only 2 fish can be over 23 inches, and that one right there is probably right there on 23 or just under 23. We'll find out what it is right here. There we go. Look at that. That's the kind you really want right there. 22 3/4 about. Not a bad fish at all. That's under 23, so. There we go. I still got it. There we go. There he goes. They always say, "Oh man, I'd love to have your job." And you know, I love it. I'm blessed. I don't complain. I know what it's like to punch a time clock 40-hour week job. I had them when I was younger, and I encourage young people, you know, never lose your day job to come and fish tournaments and get involved in this until you can see you can make a living at it. So what I have done over the years, I worked 3 different jobs at one time. You know, one being a guide, another one punching a time clock for a company, and another one is being you know, a full-time tournament fisherman, taking all my vacation and sick time, and you know, that's how I got my foot in the door at it. I take my buddies along fishing with me. I go for a week to 10 days. The first few days, they're all gung-ho and they're going at it. And by the time tournament comes, they're ready to go home. They're fished out, you know, because I go from dang near dark to dark pretty much. By the time you get up, eat breakfast, and you get back in and talk over everything, you know, and fish all day long in all kinds of weather. You know, you're not out there having a picnic, you're not out there taking a break, you're constantly working out here on the water. I feel I'm blessed, and I love fishing, so I don't look at the hours I put on the water or into it or on the phone. Being a professional fisherman, this doesn't happen very much. This, as far as fishing, that's just a little sliver of the whole pie right here, what we're doing right now. But when you do it, you better do it well. So I've been a master at doing things wrong for 35 years professionally, and you learn from your mistakes how to do it right eventually. So it's just like a little boy said to me at a gas station. His dad asked him, he says, "This is Mark Martin, professional fisherman. Do you know what a professional fisherman is?" And this is a little 7-8-year-old boy. He goes, "Yeah," he says, "somebody that fishes a lot and gets better." I says, "That should be a t-shirt." So I was kind of like in awe over a little kid that he just, boom, came right off the top of his head with the answer. And I couldn't agree more with him.
Day 1 of the tournament came to a close as the teams one by one made their way back to the harbor. Then to the weigh-in area and onto the stage, where a crowd of anxious fans waited for the day's results. After a tough week of pre-fishing, it was hard to know what to expect at the end of day 1. But Mother Nature stirred things up a bit, and the bite was on.
2701 is the Jimmy John's freaky good catch. These bags just keep getting bigger. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. Roy Vivian, ladies and gentlemen, your new leader, Jimmy John's freaky good catch.
Well, we're back in safe and sound after day 1. Didn't make the big run all the way down. Probably should have where we filmed the other day, because it looks like a lot of people did that, and they had some pretty good catches. I just said, you know, when I seen how rough it was and raining, it was going to, you know, they even called for higher waves, and I said, well, I'm going to go And I found a spot yesterday that I knew I could catch 5 fish. So I said, let's just go catch 5 fish. The way the fishing has been, that should be really do me well. And evidently the fish turned on like no tomorrow today.
The first champion ever in the world of walleye fishing, Pro Mark Martin, along with David Koski. How you doing, David? Good to have you here. 5 fish mark, 9.63 pounds. Not the target.
No, not the target. I figured, tomorrow I'm going to, probably have to make a run and put some big fish in the boat, like the size we were catching the other day. And didn't want to make a big run, but if it's flat, it's not going to, make any difference as far as the bite. Then I might just go for the 5 fish and maybe get a big one with that too, or hurry up and get 5 fish and run and see if I can get bigger ones. So that's the other thing I could have done today too, is after I got my 5 fish, took off and run. But when I started getting closer here, it was like 6-foot rollers without the white caps on top. So it would have been pretty tough. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow and see how many walleyes that I can stack up, and hopefully I'll have a good weight for everybody to see and for myself too.
26.56 pounds puts him in these guys in second place right now. Man, you are right there, right there.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it. This is a wonderful place. Like Bill was saying there, when the wind blows and the rain, and it was kind of crappy to be out there today, but it's awesome fishing wise.
Day 2 changed yet again. The wind died and the bite was not quite as hot.
We picked one here, one there. I think we ended up with 8 keepers today, and it was fun, but yeah, we worked for it.
All right, good job, guys.
Well, today, I didn't catch as many fish, but we had bigger fish today that we brought in. We got 2. We should have had a limit of 5. We had the other 3 right up to the boat, and they unbuttoned on crankbaits we were using and spinners. And we got the 2 we got. One was on a spinner, one was on a crankbait. And people say you can't use spinners and crankbaits at the same time, but for 1 hour we were having them on. Let's put it that way. I was going to say catching them, but you got to put them in the boat to say that. But we were actually having a pretty good time out there. And, it surprised me today to see how the weights are down, but today the wind never came up. It was foggy, it was flat calm, it was, sometime a little rainy out.
It's always good to come back here to Little Bay to Knock. It's been a long time to see a lot of familiar places that I've stopped and visited people, and a lot of familiar faces out here in the audience, and really want to thank everybody for coming out, because it really makes us happy, and it excites us to go out and catch fish. So I want to say a big thank you to Escanaba, and can't wait to get back here again.
All right, give yourselves a big round of applause. Great job, guys. All right, this morning this man left just... This might be our biggest bag thus far today, Wing. 25.10 pounds. Put it together, not get you 48.02 pounds. Gary Parsons, the Jimmy John's Freaky Good Catcher, leading this tournament on day 2. Woo!
In the end, it came down to a battle for first and second between Gary Parsons and his brother-in-law, Keith Cabelas.
All right, let's crown a champion. Headed in there, settles down. Your weight. 25.70, Keith Cabelas. You're the Cabelas National Walleye Tour champion, Escanaba, Michigan. And Marty, you are champion on the co-angler side. Marty Barsky, ladies and gentlemen, your co-angler champion at Basenok, Escanaba, Michigan. These are the 2 men that bested 100 of their peers in Escanaba.
The strategy I had today, just like the other days, was basically to go way south for big fish. I was going south of Cedar River, so long runs. Down there was a little bit bigger fish, not as many, but bigger fish, and I'd get my big fish. Yesterday I had a 28 and a 30-incher. Today I had a 26 and a 28-incher. So not quite as big today, but I could only spend so much time on it because I had to not only get back home, but also find those slot fish. And in this tournament, slot fish are very, very important Because if you get 3 good slots, say 22 inchers, that's another 10 pounds. So that's like catching another big fish. So you have to not only get your 2 big fish, but you got to get your 3 slots. So you got to leave time to do that. There's a lot more fish over 23 inches out there that we were catching than under 23 inches. So I got lucky both days. I caught exactly 3 slots each day. I caught my last slot today with 10 minutes left, literally 10 minutes. I told the guy, we got 10 minutes to fish. I need a miracle fish. I knew if I got it, I might win. So I started graphing down a break. I marked one. I threw back in my boat wake. I jigged it 2 times, and the shiver minnow hammered it, and we brought it in. It was a 20-incher, high fives all around, and we ran in. So, you know, things just go right when you win. Today and yesterday, things went great.
No, this tournament, it was really great for Escanaba. They got good play out of it, a lot of good fish caught, a lot of good publicity for people should come up here and take advantage of it. The fish are just now coming up. You know, they're just, the water's just creeping up a little bit. The fish are creeping up from down there at Green Bay, and they're starting to enter the upper bays right now. So the next couple of weeks should be really good. So get out here and, you know, fish the reefs along the structure, kind of like we did the other day on film, exactly like that. And you're going to have plenty of success here. So good luck when you go, and stay tuned for some more tips sometime when I get back out here with Brian and discovering, and we'll have some more fun showing everybody out there some good things and how to catch more fish.
So after all of the traveling, hotels, and restaurant meals, countless hours of planning, a week of pre-fishing from Menominee to Rapid River, and 2 days of tournament fishing, the tournament was over. And for the pro fishermen, that just means the next one starts. It's back to the drawing board. More planning, coordinating schedules, pre-fishing, studying the water and the fish in some other new location, and try to figure out once again where they are and what it'll take to put them in the boat.